Okay, it is 9:39 a.m. and I've been looking for morning panic bounce plays, $15 risk level, and for AABB, I've been watching it. I could have been in, in one of these turnarounds. I could have been in a few times, but none of it looked ideal. None of the price action looked clean. So while it was being all jumpy and crazy looking, I was looking at, of course, other OTCs that were having a potential morning panic bounce play. This one wasn't too ideal, HMBL. But I do like how it kind of broke a significant level on a daily chart, and it has like a lot of volume the previous day, so it did look like a bit of a panic. And I liked how it was trying to show some kind of a turnaround, especially on the level two. And I traded $15 risk level. I was in at 937, which was right here, and I was in at 2971. So right here at this little tick, and I sold 500 shares at 30 at 938, which was right here, and then I sold the remainder 1,000 shares at 938, which was right here. This candle right here, the same minute actually. I sold everything because there was a big seller at 30, and I didn't like that. And the bid wasn't stacking up. Now it's stacking up a little bit, but at the time when I was in it, it wasn't really stacking up. So it wasn't, so ideal. And of course, this thing doesn't have the best daily charts or anything like that to maybe be a little more patient with it. So I kind of traded it in and out rather quickly. I don't know how much I made on this trade. I don't even know how much money this position was. It probably wasn't much, but I mean, let's just see 2971 times 1,500 shares. Actually, that was more than I thought, a $400 position. And yeah, I think I made maybe $4 from that trade. I'm not sure what the percent gain is, but that was a trade there with HMBL. I wouldn't be surprised because 30 had a large seller at the ask, and it was also kind of close to VWAP, so it might downtrend from here, or maybe try to catch its breath on the way down and try again. But I think I traded this one really nicely actually for what it was. And I'll keep looking at AABB. It looks like it finally made a move towards the upside, but I never liked the way this thing was trading. Maybe an entry right here when it had this little drop and then bounce, and then it kind of went all the way back, but it was trying to hold this 16.8-ish level. Maybe an entry there, and then finally it goes to the 17s. It breaks VWAP, but I don't mind missing this one because it just looked ugly. I was not interested in TSOI, even though this one is down as well, because it was only up one day. And then ABQQ doesn't have volume, so I'm not interested in it. I'll keep watching AABB, but yeah, I just traded HMBL because it just looked a lot better. It was a lot cleaner, and it just felt more consistent. Even if it wasn't going to offer as much range as AABB, it just looked something that was going to be just better overall. So just one trade there with HMBL, and I'll keep watching AABB. It is 9:48. I don't like the range that AABB is currently trading in. I just don't like how it's just. I mean, to trade this would be degenerate. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get in right here, and the bounce is gonna break VWAP, or like right here is gonna turn around, like, because it's putting up a base higher than here. It's just, it's not really ideal. I want to see this. If this thing can break 16.5 and do some kind of a real panic, it doesn't have to be like yesterday, but if it can do a real panic, I'll be interested in it. But at this range where it is right now, and it being down only 7% on the day, I'm not too interested in this one right here. And as for HMBL, this one's nice. It actually did do it. It was like a little bit of a lower low setup, and then it slightly broke the wick here, and it found a base of support. Bidders helped it, and this one's making a move from 29.2 to almost 30, which is VWAP. So right now, if I was in the setup right here, maybe at 29.35, I would be very, very, very focused on this level right here at VWAP to see if it will break it. And I would probably, have at least some shares sold, because even though some of these can like break it over time gradually, I just don't want to be a part of something that might break the day low again, and it doesn't have again the best daily charts, so it could do something like that where it just keeps breaking it. but it could also just try to hold and maybe take longer. But the chance that this thing tries to break VWAP is high, but I don't know if it will do it right here and there. It might even try to make an inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, and then it downtrends a little. Ideally doesn't break the bottom, shoulder. But again, where it is on a daily chart, doesn't have momentum to break VWAP or get to 30, maybe. But it's just something to take into consideration and maybe trade for that reason a smaller size. But this initial one I liked a lot. I'll keep watching HMBL. It looks clean, even though it doesn't have the best daily chart, compared to AABB. But we'll see if we have any setups. Those two are the ones I'm watching the most, and I'll make an update later. It's 9:57. We did break the day low. I actually was watching to see if maybe it could be some kind of double bottom. Nope, it kind of broke it. What I've been looking for is maybe something where it has a panic, maybe a baby bounce, and then it comes back near the panic, it holds that, or maybe it comes back to the panic, it holds that, or maybe it just breaks slightly under it and then it holds that. So that's how I'm approaching this. And right now, maybe I'd like to see it come back and try to wick, and then as long as it doesn't break and keep downtrending under, making a new low, that's when I'm interested in it. But I am going to be a bit cautious because AABB is a lot choppier to trade, at least compared to HMBL. Okay, 10:03, I got in and out of a trade. I was barely in it, and the reason why I got out of this one so quickly, although this one could very well be the bottom, the ultimate bottom, we might not get 14, which maybe a lot of people are trying to go for, and then when it makes a bounce at 15, people are going to freak out and market order buy this thing all the way up. But yeah, actually it's working. That's a nice bidder at the bid 15.4. I did nail the bottom, but I didn't hold because it was just too damn scary. I don't like the people at the ask, but yeah, people are dumping. They're still dumping shares, but the bid is looking very strong. That's a nice uptrend, I think. It's a bit scary looking, but so why did I get in if what I said previously, I wanted to make an uptrend, downtrends, and then it kind of holds a certain level, reverses off of that, because there was so many bidders at 15. There was like 300k, 100k, and 80k bidder, something like this but stronger, at 15 flat. And that's why I got in. I lowered, as you can see, my shares of 500 because it was like, the scarier this thing was, the less money I wanted to put into it. I don't mind trading 500 shares here compared to yesterday. And I was in at 1503. That was 1001, which was right here, 1503. Not a bad entry at all. And 200 shares immediately sold the next minute, almost the second minute after my entry, at 1521. So right here was my sell of 200 shares, and then I sold 300 shares because I really wasn't liking this price action, because it was looking like it was trying to break 15. It didn't necessarily do it, but it looked like it could have, and it was just too scary because the way this one trades is pretty scary. So 15.17 was when I sold the rest of my position. Again, I had a pretty good entry, and my exits were fine, I think, just considering how scary this thing is. But this thing is looking like it's trying to make a move towards the upside, which would be nice. And will it get to VWAP? I don't know, it could, but it was just too damn scary. I'm glad that even though I didn't get to really profit that much, I was on the right track, because it's still trying to hold a level, although it doesn't look as strong as I just thought it was. But this thing can keep making a move towards the upside if people are like, the bottom's in. This is the most obvious looking bottom out of all of this price action here. So I'm not sure how much I made from this AABB trade, but maybe I'm up like $5 on the day. Yeah, that's nice. So at this point, I'm not in the setup, but maybe not. Yeah, this one's gonna apply. I think I would draw a nice little, I guess once the minute ends in the next few seconds, I'm going to draw a trend line, and then if I was still in the setup, I'd get out as soon as it breaks it. Okay, this thing got glitched. This is what I would do. I would draw from this corner and then here, give or take there, a trend line, and then if it breaks that, I'll be out, and it looks like it's pretty close to trying to break it too, so I'd probably be selling, you know, partial positions and just have a small amount left for the trend line break if that happens, which it's going to at some point. Yeah, that's looking a bit scary. I'll make an update to see what this one does, but that's how I would have the last remaining portion of my position if I was still in. I'd have it on a leash. It's 10:20. I haven't entered, but I've thought about it at this point. Maybe if it can come back and, you know, kind of throw itself a little support level that it can base off of here, but I just really don't think it's going to break the day low, at least at this point. It just doesn't seem like it's just going to break the day low, and it wouldn't have been too bad to be in at the 15.2s. The issue is that, you know, what if it just kept downtrending and then it got to the 15s, like 15 ones or maybe 15 like flats, then I wouldn't have the best entry. But it's trying to make a move. I don't like the way it's doing it anymore, but I just don't think it's going to break the day low the way this one is trading, but I could totally be wrong. That's what I have in mind. If I was super aggressive, maybe I'd be in, you know, at the 15-20s, but I just don't like the way it's also uptrending, but I just don't think it's going to break the day low. I mean, or at least, you know, not something immediately. Like for this to just top and just turn around and just crack, I just don't think that's something that's very probable. Obviously it can happen. It's just, I think it's a low risk, but I'll continue to watch this one for any kind of setup. And as for the other ones, nothing with this one. Low volume drop, TSOI. Never had an interest in it because it was just up one day. Even though this was a nice move from 39 to 45, I don't mind that because it just didn't seem that nice. Nothing with HMBL. It never did the inverse head and shoulders. It just broke the day low and it kept downtrending. So, you know, it was a no-go, but that's fine. Again, it wasn't the best odds because the daily wasn't that nice. And nothing with the other ones. I'll keep watching AABB. Now it looks a bit, you know, nicer, but yeah, I just didn't think it would break the day low. If I could see maybe another bounce or maybe trade something like yesterday where it's eventually, you know, makes a move towards VWAP, something slow and gradual, I might try something like that, but clearly missed this one right here, which is fine. I just didn't like the amount of people at the ask, but I didn't think it was going to break the day low. I had a feeling it was not going to get much further than here, but you know, I knew there was a chance it could have gone to the low 15s, but it actually did hold that level. It is 11:13 and I want to make an update. AABB never really offered another dip after it started reversing right here, and that is totally fine with, you know, what I know and how comfortable I was with it. I think I did the best that I could. You know, I was at least able to tackle this one, even though I didn't get the best sell out of it. Just a very scary stock. It's been months since we've had one of these like tsunami type panic stocks, although this one didn't drop as much as the other day. It went from 18 to 15, which is still, you know, a pretty nice percent difference, but you know, it's not, it's like, what is it, like 18%? It's not as bad as it was the other day. This is a super nice run, you know. This one I probably would have had a too aggressive trend line, honestly, and I would have gotten out of it pretty quickly. I would have had it maybe off of here, right about here perhaps, and yeah, I probably would have maybe have gotten out of it, and then I wouldn't have, you know, made that much. I would have sold maybe at that level instead of, you know, something higher. It just decided to get a little more gradual. When it broke this trend line, it still continued to move towards the upside, and this one, as you can see, when it broke this one, it eventually downtrended. So this was a nice move. I would still be interested in this, but it would have to like get back to the 15s, and it might not do something like that. So I don't mind if it maybe does a move later on and I miss it. TSOI could also do a reversal looking at this one now, but because it was only up one day, it's less ideal, although it is something that I can try to run. I mean, it's done it before. It's ran for like more than one day, but it's also had days like this where it has a lot more volume than an average day, and it just sells off. So that's what I have in mind. You know, if it wasn't just a one-day runner, I would probably be more interested in it. HMBL did actually consolidate an uptrend, but not much range there. And honestly, even though it looks super impressive with AABB, I mean, best case scenario, you're in at 15 and you sell at 16.9. Let's just be generous and say 17. So I'd say what that is 13%. Best case scenario, bought here, sold here, and somehow got 13%. So not the best range, but it is clean. The pattern is definitely clean. You know, this nice uptrend right here, and yeah, I kind of missed this entry again, but I don't mind that too much. I know I tried, you know, pretty hard, and that was the best that I could have done. I was pretty sure it wasn't gonna break the day low, at least, you know, early in the morning, maybe later today, but I highly doubt that. I just had a really, I mean, it could have done it, but again, I just really didn't think it was gonna break it. It did reverse there. It didn't, you know, like uptrend a little and then come back. That would have been an ideal entry for me. It just, you know, held the level and decided to uptrend, and I think that's totally fine. I'll make an update later. Maybe no more trades, but yeah, I'm happy I did this one and I traded HMBL too. Okay, it is 7:03 p.m. and I am here to call it off. I think I ended up, I think I'm up like $5 today, and I do feel a lot better, especially compared to yesterday. I feel like I traded much better, and I did go larger, and it's kind of funny. I didn't really make that much on AABB. As you can see, the chart didn't really, it hasn't loaded since the last time I had this computer on. And let's just bring it back. Yeah, at this point it's better without extended hours. This was the move that I was watching. It did do it. It was super nice, and you know, that's totally fine. I just wanted it to kind of like drop down a little more and maybe again just play off of the level, not just immediately one bounce, you know, just straight up, okay, boom, that's it. Still pretty impressive, even with the range that it has. Is a very clean setup, if you ask me. Something that can be repeated easily, something that is excuse me, replicable. I probably butchered that word wrong, but yeah, that was there with AABB. Kind of funny that I made most of the money I made today trading HMBL, which was this move right here. I believe my entry at this point looks like nothing, but it was at 937. Very good the way I traded this one conservatively. And then my trade with AABB was at 10:01, which was, yeah, this first one right here, which was scary, but this ended up making a nice move towards the upside. That's all I have. I want to keep this consistency. I did trade a $15 risk level with HMBL. I want to do the same with AABB. You know, if it's some kind of a, I made an adjustment really. It's before I would do $15 morning panic bounce plays and $5 everything else. Now I want to do $15 everything that is some kind of a panic bounce play setup, and $5 for everything else. And I might even try to push that even higher. I might, maybe I can get like a $20 bill or like a $50 bill, put it on my desk, and then trade that dollar risk level on morning panic bounce setups. And then, you know, maybe I'll have more confidence to trade a larger size. After all, it's just numbers. It doesn't, you know, feel like you're trading money. You're trading shares when you're in the moment. So that's what I really want to do, is just really get good at the process of trading these things effectively. Because I mean, to just change the quantity, you know, it's not a big difference if everything else, you know, you've done since you were trading tiny positions is the same with, you know, a much larger position. I think that's a good spot to be in, but I have to keep working and developing. Again, I'm just happy overall, at least, you know, compared to yesterday, and that's what I'm considering, just going larger on panic bounce setups and everything else. Stick to a small size because I just have less experience there. That's all I have for today.